Hello and welcome, my name's Phil and this is episode 7 of My Favourite Shots. Although actually we should be calling this episode My Least Favourite Shots.
I swear I'll concentrate.
Please hit the subscribe button below and the bell and then you'll get a notification each time I put a new video up.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
You better think about what you're saying. You better think about the consequences of your actions.
This week's shot is from a really good film. Don't get me wrong, I love this film. It's called Pan's Labyrinth. It was directed by Guillermo del Torro. He went on to do Shape of Water, which got lots of Oscars recently. And I should say, I try and keep these PG, these episodes, but this one has a few images which are quite scary. So I know some of my subscribers are watch with their kids. So make sure you watch this one first before you watch with your kids, just to check. When I was watching this the first time, I was really invested and really looking forward to giving it an almost 10 out of 10 until this one little moment happened near the end, which gave me such a crushing feeling of, no, why did they do it? Oh.
It's like 2 + 2 = fish.
So I'll play the clip with the shot in there and then I'll point out which one it is if you don't spot it yourselves, and then I'll tell you why it's so annoying.
¿Negaréis vuestra cuna por él? Él por quien habéis sido humillada e ignorada.
Sí, la niego.
Hágase pues vuestra voluntad, maldita.
No.
Why did you put that one shot in? It's this shot here, this one here, really? Okay. Breaks my heart, that shot. And we need to do a little bit of background. We need to lay some foundations to find out why it gets on my nerves so much. Okay. Pan's Labyrinth is kind of two stories running alongside each other. The real life world is in Spain and you've got Captain Vidal who's trying to catch all of these resistance fighters. Okay, that's the one story. And also Ophelia and her mum who've just gone to live with him because he's Ophelia's new stepdad. And then you've also got this amazing fantasy world and Ophelia has been told that she is the princess of this otherworldly place.
Vuestro más humilde súbdito, Alteza.
No.
Vos sois la princesa Moana, hija del rey de Bezmorra, el reino subterráneo.
And once she's in this fantasy world, she gets given tasks to do. She looks like some crazy Spanish Alice in Wonderland in one of them. And what's interesting about that is that the fantasy world is so real, and you feel like Ophelia's in danger when she's in that world. And what Del Torro is doing, he's giving us a proper fairy tale. I don't mean a fairy tale in the Disney sense, but more in the kind of Grimm's fairy tale where things are horrific and quite scary and horrible things happen. So what Del Torro does is he has these two worlds and he balances them really well through the film. You cut from one to the other, and he does this in a very clever way. Each time he'll cut from the real world to the fantasy world using a track, and something will wipe across the frame, and in that way the camera movement starts in one world and ends in the other. So he's saying that these two worlds are coexisting together. And the first scene where the car stops and they're in a forest, it's incredibly magical. Although we're in the real world, there's all this kind of fluff and blossom flying through the air. It looks really magical and beautiful. And again, he's saying that these two worlds, the real and the fantastical, where she first meets that little creature, are kind of intermingled. At the end of that first scene, you see the car drive off from the point of view of that little insect. So you're seeing the real world from the point of view of the fantasy world. Then there's another scene later on where she's in the bathroom, she's got her book and she's waiting to be told what her next task is. And suddenly she has like this premonition, and it's pretty horrible. And she runs in and she can see that her mother's in real trouble with her pregnancy. So again, mixing the two worlds. And then in another scene, she does as she's told by the fawn, and she puts this mandrake root, looks a bit like a weird baby monster thing, under the bed. And sure enough, the doctor takes her mum's pulse and she's doing much better. So again, we're seeing the two worlds mixing, and the film starts to climax in both worlds at the same time. And Ophelia's got her baby brother and she's running through the maze. Again, there's another wonderful shot where the maze opens itself up for her, and then the evil stepdad, the Captain Vidal, he can't get through because it closes on him, until eventually they reach the centre of this labyrinth, and Ophelia is talking to the fawn, and the stepdad arrives and he can see what's going on. And now we see the captain looking at Ophelia and the fawn, and then it cuts to his point of view shot, so we see through his eyes, as it were, and suddenly we see Ophelia, but we don't see the fawn. The fawn's not there. Oh, so it's just a made-up world all in her head. And that completely changes the whole film for me. Just that one shot, because you're saying that all of that fantasy world, it doesn't exist. It's just not real. I felt like someone had just told me Father Christmas doesn't exist, which he does, by the way. Because suddenly all of that stuff that's happened before to Ophelia, what was the point? Well, according to that one shot, it's not real. And so now I don't care anymore. I don't care about the film anymore. Sorry, it's all gone. But if you took, how long is it? How long is it? Like three seconds? If you took those 3 seconds out of that film, I think it would be as near to a perfect film as I've ever seen. It's such a good film. But just that one shot just completely spoils it. Well, that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed that.
It's over?
It's over.
We're going to be back next week with a shot from La La Land, one of my favourite shots from one of my favourite films for sure. So have a great week, and I'll see you next time.